Nice to see you again. About an hour ago, I got a call from Zanesville Bearing. My cylinder head is done, and if I don't get it today, I won't be able to get it till next Friday. So, let's go snag it. This is the next day. This is the cylinder head now. They steam cleaned it, which is what took all the paint off of it. They did a full valve job. You can see the new rubber pieces in there. Full valve job. They pressure tested it. They said it was fine. There was no damage to the bottom of it. They put in all new seals. You can see, just barely see where they smooth those out. That's all new. So this head is going to need painted. I got some high heat Ford blue paint for that. That's good up to 500 degrees, which this will never get up to 500 degrees. It'll get hot, but it won't get that hot. It's not an exhaust. But I'm going to go ahead and cover up all those holes on both sides with tape. And I'm not sure if I'm going to paint the inside here. I might, and just cover up the valve springs. Just cover them up with tape and all that, and just go ahead and just paint it. Or I was thinking about painting it with the valve cover gasket, or the valve cover on it. Regardless, that valve cover is going to get painted too. So, but that is tomorrow's project. Today, there's the oil pan. I'm going to take a wire wheel, and I'm going to finish cleaning this up. I'm going to clean all that up. That's all cleaned. All the sludge is out of it and everything. And I got my new gasket for it, and we're going to put that and the new oil pump. I got a new oil pump for it. We're going to put that on the bottom. So we're going to clean this up, and we're also going to clean up the valve cover that goes on that. I cleaned it up a little bit more, but that's how it looks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bolt that cover on there, and I'm just going to leave the underneath unpainted. So we'll see how that works out. Hopefully it doesn't rust. But I have Ford Blue 500 degree engine paint for it, like I said. So that ought to go on pretty good, but that's another day. All right, this is the valve cover for the cylinder head. It's grimy. I pressure washed this and got as much off of it as I could, especially on the inside. It was real grimy. The inside, though, it looks good. It's got this lip on it, so a gasket should seal it up pretty good. But I've been dying to try something that I've been seeing on YouTube for a while now with people that make videos, and I just want to see if it works. Are you ready? Well, that worked pretty good. Another day, another project. You can still see my breath. The garage isn't fully heated up yet. But, yeah, welcome back. I got the cylinder head all done, and I got it painted. So, here it is. Went ahead and went with the Ford Blue. The temperature sensor. I had that taped up, but I had it in there so no paint got in the threads. And these valve cover bolts, I just pulled these out. But yeah, I had it all on there painted, and I'll show you a quick picture of that. All right, I got the head all cleaned off, and I scuffed it with some sandpaper, some rough grit sandpaper, and now I'm getting ready to put the head gasket on. If I can figure out where I sat it down. Oh, there it is. Now, as you can see, it's an inline motor, and all the valve push rods and everything are on one side. This gasket can only go on one way. So, all right. Where I got this head reconditioned at, they gave me a full gasket. I got a full gasket kit along with it. New exhaust, intake, some other gaskets that are meant for the diesel engine, but not the 158 cubic inch gas motor. So, all right. Yeah, it already comes like literally almost pre-siliconed. So, oh, had it on upside down. All right. All right. Just like that. And these two pieces here that it slips down on, those pieces should keep it in place. So all you gotta do is just set the gasket on there. Cylinder head on there, and all your bolts will line up. And that's what we're gonna do now. I already got the bracket on the back of this. That has to be on the back of it, so. Oh man, doing this with one person. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Especially getting this. Well, okay, I guess I can finagle that enough when I put this on to. I have a cherry picker over there, but man, I gotta move a bunch of crap just to get it out. Here we go. All right. I think we're there. Yeah, I think we're there. Okay, guys, this is a few days later. I had something come up that I had to take care of. And so I went ahead and I reinstalled the push rods and everything. All that's pretty self-explanatory. Got everything lined up, rocker arms on every valve, and I went ahead and with my fingers ran down all the bolts. Now the next step is torquing the head. Now there is a sequence you have to do this in, and usually you go from the inner bolts out. Inner bolts, then that side, and just work your way out. Because this head will bow if you don't do that. And what I mean by that is, a good analogy is if you were to put a sticker on something, and instead of going from the middle out, you go from the outside in, and it kind of wrinkles and folds up a little bit. The same thing will happen to this cast iron head. So you want everything to go on flat. You go from the outside in, it has nowhere to go, and it'll push up and it'll leak and possibly bust the head. So how you do this is, I'm going to go ahead and put a picture up of the torque sequence on this head. I got a book from Tractor Supply, it's right back here, that has a complete tear down and rebuild of this, which will come in handy when I fully restore this tractor. The torque sequence will go, there's 14 head bolts on here you got to do. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just go that, and then you're going back and forth on them. Torque specs for these head bolts is 110 foot-pounds. What I'm going to do is, which you don't have to do, but I am going to do 3 sequences on this. I'm going to tighten them up with a ratchet, just snug them with a ratchet in that sequence. Then I'm going to come in with my Torx wrench, and I'm going to do, the second time through, I'm going to go about 20 to 30 pounds less than the actual spec on the same sequence. And then finally, I'll do 110 foot-pounds on that sequence, just to make sure I can get it as flat, flush, and perfect as I can. So, I got the book back here, but I have this torque memorized, so just snug this bolt. Do you have to do it this way? No, but I do recommend at least snugging them up in the sequence before you torque them down. So pressure is more evenly distributed through the weight you put on it. These damn wires just keep getting in the way, don't they? And I've noticed that as I'm going out, these bolts are, I ran them down with my fingers till they were tight, but they're kind of loose now. So this process is working. Yeah, see how loose that is now? Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to get my torque wrench and I'm going to set it to, well, specs 110. I'm going to go ahead and set it to 90 pounds and torque them all up. Got my torque wrench keyed in 90 foot-pounds, and just going to run the same sequence until it clicks. All right. All right, I'm gonna just go in the same sequence that I showed you before and just torque them all up. All right, I just did that all at 90 pounds and I just cranked her up to 110. So this will be the final time through, torquing every single bolt to spec. And even on that last time through, these bolts, I could tell, were a lot looser than the bolts on the inside as I went out. So it is flattening the head out as I do that. And yeah, same sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know the drill. All right, all the head bolts are torqued. All right, all the head bolts are torqued down. So next step is going to be getting the valve cover back on with the gasket. The valve cover does have a torque spec. I'm just not sure what it is. But with those, I believe just snugging them up good with a ratchet will do the trick. Now, this can be a little tricky. One thing I found out was if you can just put the gasket down, because the gasket has to go underneath the lip of this cover. So I'm not gonna, the bolts are already in the cover. So I'm just gonna see if I can just get them started, which surprisingly I can. So, but like the ends and stuff, you want to make sure the gasket's really tucked in underneath there. And also that the bolts feed through the holes, which they're doing right now. But like the gasket's sticking out right there. Yeah, you want to make sure it's all tucked in underneath there. And as long as your bolts are through those holes, it's flush. So, right there, yep, just tucked in that lip. Now, you want to just run these bolts down with a ratchet, and then after you're done, go around one more time and make sure that gasket's completely tucked away before you tighten them up. Because if you don't check that and the gasket is out of whack a little bit and you tighten them up, you could damage the gasket. Then you got to get a whole nother one. I'm gonna just run these down. I don't think there's any torque sequence to this because, I mean, this is a piece of tin aluminum, so. They do have a torque spec, though. I think it's nothing more than what you would get if you were to hand tighten with a ratchet. Honestly, because these bolts, you know, they're short and lanky. They're not like these head bolts. You know, you could easily break these. Just running them down. Look it over one more time. And it feels pretty flush all the way around. So, get my ratchet. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them down. Just for the hell of it, I'm going to go from the inside out. Okay, that one's snugged up. Went to this one, that one. Now I'm going to go to this one and then that one. All right. Now this is back on there. I may do the exhaust manifold. I don't know if I want to film that. That one's pretty self-explanatory. It's just 6 bolts and putting that on there. So it ain't nothing. I will do the intake manifold. It's a little more complicated. But like I said, I'm not doing anything with that until I put electronic ignition in this thing. And with the fact that there's a loader on it and this manifold goes directly over top of this, I am not doing anything with that manifold until I can get that ignition all done. So. Alrighty, valve cover's back on it, guys, and that'll about do it. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this will help you out on tractors or give you a step-by-step of what you need to do. It may not be the same thing, but that's pretty much how it is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Later. Okay, before everybody floods my comment section about me not doing it, after I torqued the cylinder head bolts, I did get my feeler gauges and made sure all the valve clearance was 0.025, which is what it recommends. I did do that. I turned the motor over by hand and did each individual valve. I just didn't film it, but thought I'd throw this in at the end of that video. I did do that step.